Welcome to Washington in Focus. I am Jeremy Lott. Joining me today is the Center Square's Washington investigative reporter, TJ Martinell. TJ, you wrote a piece this week titled Industrious Monsters. Washington bill targets fentanyl pill production.
As you probably are well aware, and other people are well aware, we're going through a fentanyl epidemic in our state where we're having record level of drug overdoses, and that's really being driven by fentanyl. And to just give some figures, in King County in 2019, there was 422 drug overdose deaths. In 2022, it was 1,033. And there was roughly 70% of those deaths in King County was attributed to fentanyl. And 3 months into 2023, there have been almost 300 drug overdose deaths in that county alone. So now what's driving much of that is the ability to mass produce fentanyl pills through these encapsulation or tableting machines, which can be used for legitimate purposes. But what they can do is they can produce basically 3,000 pills or tabs an hour. And in some cases, they can be rainbow colored so kids can mistake them for candy. And that's what happened in August 2022 when a child overdosed on that. And so what this bill does is makes it illegal to sell, purchase, or use these for these purposes.
You can still buy these and use them for legitimate reasons, just not fentanyl.
Yeah. And so it makes it a Class C felony for a person to misuse these in the sale, purchase, or use for illegal drugs. And it, according to some of the bill sponsors, what this does is it gives law enforcement an extra weapon in prosecuting people responsible for this stuff. And what they can also do is they can create fake pills that look like legitimate prescription pills, but they're actually laced with fentanyl. And that's what happened with one of the bill sponsors, family friends. He took what he thought was a Percocet. It looked like a Percocet on the surface. It had the same serial number on the outside as the regular Percocet, but it had a lethal amount of fentanyl. And so he died of a drug overdose. What's interesting about this is with so much debate going on about how to enforce drug laws in our state, that this is something that's getting pretty much unanimous support. Very strong bipartisan support. The bill sponsor was a Democrat. Some of the co-sponsors are Republicans. It's been moving through the at least one chamber.
It passed the House. You got at least 90 votes in the House, right?
It passed 95-0. This is as non-controversial bill as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting though, because as part of another bill, they try to say that okay, fine, drug use, it won't be a felony, drug possession won't be a felony. But it'll be a heightened misdemeanor, and we'll trade that for treatment. But there was an attempt to say, okay, but fentanyl, right? No, that possession of that should be a Class C felony, right? That was a proposal that was proposed and shot down. In this case, they're saying, okay, not for users or what, we're not going to go after them, but people who are proposing that, who are producing and distributing this, which is what they're using these machines for, we're going to throw everything we can at them. Yes.
Yeah, it almost would hint that this is a potential pathway forward for people trying to, address the drug epidemic that's going on in our state, is that there's very, I'd say, strong opposition to prosecuting users, but there's going to be, it seems, far less sympathy for people who manufacture and distribute and are profiting off of the drug crisis. So
as the sponsor of this bill called them industrious monsters.
Yeah, that was Representative Dan Griffey from Allen, and who's a co-sponsor. And it seems like if I was a state lawmaker who was looking to crack down on this stuff, I would be proposing more legislation that's targeting the people making the money, because it seems like from the drug overdose epidemic, because it seems like they're the ones who are not going to get any sympathy, and they're the ones who aren't also suffering from the effects. It's the people who use it and then have an overdose.
Well, listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. For TJ Martinell, this is Jeremy Lott. Please subscribe, and thanks for listening.
Freedom and liberty are important to all of us. If you're looking for civil, intellectual conversations with those shaping the future of freedom, try the Future of Freedom podcast with me, Scott Bertram. We speak with leaders across the country in the greater conservative and libertarian movements. In-depth conversations about where the next intellectual battles will happen across the country. It's the Future of Freedom podcast. Find it at americastalking.com or wherever you get your podcasts.